Good afternoon. I'm Meteorologist Joe Fitzwater with an update on the severe weather risk here for later on today here across the tri-state. And I want to take a look right now. We're starting off with the temperatures. Now, this is at around noontime, and you'll notice that we have seen those temperatures rise up very quickly. We're going to make a run into the mid-80s in many locations here as we head toward this afternoon. We do have a few showers and thunderstorms across parts of central Ohio, but most of this area is void of any rainfall. We do expect that to change later on with a cold front that's going to be arriving. And you can see some cooler air back to the west here. We're down to 64 in St. Louis, in the St. Louis area. We're in the 50s across northern parts of Illinois. But out ahead of that, we do have a lot of warm air where we're in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees. One of the more interesting things that we'll have to keep an eye on, though, are the dew point values. They're not that high here across most of West Virginia. We're only in the 50s. That indicates the presence of some fairly dry air that's in place. We're going to need those values to go up a little bit here to help support severe weather later on this afternoon into the evening hours. Now, you go farther back to the west, and we do have dew point values that are a little bit on the warmer or more moist side, I should say, as those values are higher. As we have dew point values in the mid-60s, that indicates a good bit of moisture across parts of western Ohio, back toward the Dayton area, down towards Cincinnati. And the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted most of Ohio, northern parts of West Virginia, and then back toward northern parts of Kentucky as a level 2 risk for severe weather here as we head toward late this afternoon into tonight. It is a 1 out of 5 for the I-64 corridor in West Virginia, up I-79 to the Sutton area, and then back toward parts of eastern Kentucky, and it's even less than that across far southeastern Kentucky once you get down toward the Pikeville area. So really it's parts of southern Ohio, northern Kentucky, and the north central parts of West Virginia that we're really going to be keeping an eye on here for the threat for some strong storms. So let's take a look at some of the short-term models so we can kind of gauge what's at play here. And so far doing a pretty good job of kind of pinning everything out here. This is the high-resolution model, the HRRR. And here we go. This is at 3 p.m., and we see those scattered showers and storms beginning to fire up here across parts of central Kentucky and across parts of central Ohio. So this is going to kind of evolve in two modes here. I think we'll see a few rogue cells across parts of western Ohio, central parts of Kentucky through the early to mid-afternoon, so maybe through about 3, 4 o'clock. And that's kind of what you're being hinted here by some of these storms that are individualized across parts of central Ohio. That will be when we have the greatest risk for a rotating storm, would be across parts of western Ohio, central Ohio, and then back toward parts of northern Kentucky, pretty much out of our area. And this would be during the mid-afternoon. But then watch what happens as we head toward the later parts of the afternoon. This is 5 p.m., 6 p.m. See how this is becoming a bit more linear in nature. And that's where we're going to be looking at the threat for perhaps more of a damaging wind gust threat than anything else here as we head toward later this evening into the overnight hours. This is 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., still with those scattered showers and thunderstorms around. But notice they definitely look a lot less in the way of severe by this point here across most of West Virginia and even across parts of northeastern Kentucky and southern Ohio. So that's the HRRR. We'll show the NAM really quick before we go back to kind of what we're looking at as far as setup. Again, this is this afternoon. This is at the 12 o'clock period, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And notice that it already has these storms kind of congealing into a line even by 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that's kind of a more linear take here on what we can expect here as we head toward later today. Again, that would be a damaging wind gust threat here as it moves into our area. So this is 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. Notice it looks like it has the strongest storms up across parts of eastern Ohio, northern parts of West Virginia, western Pennsylvania, and that is an impressive signature showing up on the model. That would indicate definitely a bowing line segment, so that would definitely be capable of some damaging winds up that way. Definitely not nearly as impressive farther down to the south here across our region, but nonetheless, we're still looking at a low threat for severe weather here as we head toward late this afternoon into tonight. And then again, a few scattered showers and thunderstorms still lingering around as we head toward the 9, 10 o'clock period. So why are we looking at a different type of mode for severe weather than what we were looking at a couple of days ago where we had the hail? Well, first off, it's not super dry in the mid-levels, so that's one reason. It is a little more on the moist side, so that kind of begins to take the hail threat out a little bit, especially with a lot more moisture content in the atmosphere overall. But we're looking at more of a brief tornado threat across parts of western Ohio, central Ohio, northern Kentucky. Basically, because of all the shear that's present, you can see these wind barbs right here. See how they change as they go up with height here quite a bit. So first off, we have what we call deep layer shear present. And then in addition to that, there's a lot of clockwise spin in the atmosphere. So there's a lot of what we call some different products out there called helicity. These values are very high, abnormally high for our area for this time of year. We don't really see values like that often throughout the year. So there's a little bit of spin in the atmosphere that's going to be available for some of these storms across parts of western Ohio. And again, northern Kentucky, that's going to be the area most likely. You get farther down to the south and east, and this becomes a little less prevalent. If you look here, these helicity values drop quite a bit once you get down toward the Charleston area. So again, a brief damaging wind gust threat can't be ruled out, but as far as the tornado potential, that drops quite significantly once you get down into parts of West Virginia. That threat is a lot more elevated once you get up toward parts of western and central parts of Ohio. So again, timing, if we're going to kind of summarize things up just a bit here, timing will be this afternoon from generally around 4 p.m. to around 8 p.m. as far as severe weather is concerned. We'll go ahead and extend that to perhaps as late as 9 p.m. But the main areas that we'll have to keep an eye on are going to be across southern Ohio, northern parts of Kentucky. I think the Storm Prediction Center has done a really nice job of pinpointing this area of interest as we head toward late this afternoon into the evening hours. And again, for most of us, it'll be a damaging wind gust threat, but you get up toward parts of southern Ohio, that's where we cannot rule out perhaps a brief funnel or two, especially the farther north and west you are. Of course, I'll be in the Storm Tracker 13 Weather Lab along with Chief Meteorologist Spencer Atkins later on this afternoon into the evening hours, and we'll keep you up to date on any warnings that are issued for our region. But for now, Meteorologist Joe Fitzwater, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.